Everyone says men need distance, silence, and quiet moments from a girl to truly understand how much they like her or do not. It is always women saying this, so I am curious to men. Is this true? Do you prefer hot and cold communication or a girl who is straightforward? I am not looking for relationship advice, just curious about a guy's point of view on this. Story 1. It is nonsense. The vast majority of women have no idea what men want or how we think. Any successful man that a woman desires generally does not chase her. He expresses his interest, and if she does not reciprocate, he moves on to the next woman. Consider this. If you are chasing a woman, what does that mean? It means she is running away. I want a woman running toward me, not away from me. Story 2. Direct communication is always appreciated. If you become unresponsive, I will assume I made a mistake or that you have lost interest. Story 3. Absolute nonsense. I want a woman to be honest with me about what she wants and to be as communicative as possible. Games are for children. Most men do not want to date children. Story 4. Let's ask this question with straightforward language. Do you want a person who is sometimes interested in you and other times treats you like you do not exist? No, then why would we want that? Story 5. It's great advice to give. You will never have to fear that your friends get married before you, and you will have a constant feed of fresh relationship drama to entertain you. Story 6. Everyone does not say that. Quite the opposite. Attractive men understand the truth about women. When she likes you, it is obvious. If she is playing games, either she has issues or she is just not that into you. Dating for men 101. Honestly, women have zero game for the most part and sabotage each other with poor advice like this. I swear it is like crabs in a bucket with you all. Play games, what do you think you are going to attract? Game players, that is what. Or guys so unattractive and desperate that they will jump through hoops because they have to. But attractive guys who know women and have options will just shrug, laugh, and go talk to some other girl. Story 7. No. If you are interested in a long-lasting, loving, and respectful relationship, here is a great life lesson. Never play foolish games. If someone, women in particular, tells you what men want and what game to play, they are immature and ridiculous. Story 8. If you lose interest in me, I will assume you are not interested and move on rather than wasting my time where I am not wanted. Story 9. I think it is utter nonsense. I do not have the time, energy, or effort to chase someone, and I also respect when another person signals that they are not interested. I played the chase game in high school, and let me tell you something. It never works. Most men are oblivious to the subtle hints from women. You will see many examples of men who talk about how they missed the signs in the moment, but later realized their mistake. Many men just assumed she was being nice or friendly. The reality is that most men never get hit on by a woman in their lives, and when it finally happens, they are usually too stunned to process it. So if a woman is blunt and upfront about her feelings with a man, he might be overwhelmed. Story 10. Straightforward, no nonsense, no hot and cold behavior, no mind games. I want a partner I can trust, who is level-headed, responsible, and capable of empathy. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Life is complicated enough. Bring some peace to my life as a good partner, and you will win me over. Story 11. Well, I am a man, and that is quite literally the exact opposite of what I want. I do not have the time or patience for juvenile games, especially as I get older. Either be direct and open about intentions and do not add even the slightest complication to my life, or play games, and I will just move along. Story 12. Not everyone says this. Only people who do not know anything about men say this. It is completely made up by women who want to make life as difficult as possible for men. I will not say no man on earth, but virtually no man on earth wants a hot and cold bipolar woman. It is one of the biggest turnoffs there is. We want a woman who wants us day and night, 7 days a week. Giving a man space does not mean being cold. It means not clinging and allowing him to do completely different things he wants. Story 13. If you spend your time distancing yourself from a man, do not act shocked when he decides to permanently distance himself from you. When you hear advice about the opposite sex, flip the script. Would you want a relationship with a man who does not text back for 3 days and then sends a one-word reply? Story 14. I think it is just women sabotaging other women. The vast majority of men do not like that and consider it annoying at best. Story 15. It is too dangerous a game. Men would rather play it safe and withdraw than act on ambiguous signals, lest the woman gets buyer's remorse and decides to accuse a man of predatory behavior. Story 16. Who is this everyone? Any woman or man thinking dating or finding the one is a strategic game or chase will never be happy. Just be yourself, and if you connect with someone, then it is genuine and not fake or forced like some people are making it out to be. Story 17. Men are usually just trying to be cool, but cool is very subjective, so we often do a poor job of it. If a girl is interested and then becomes distant, I usually respect that. In my attempt to be cool, she may have mistaken me for a creep. If she messages me a week later, I am not interested in playing games. What I like most is honesty. If you had a nice night, message me after the date and say, "Uber just dropped me home. Thanks for waiting with me. I had fun tonight." If the guy writes back, "Me too, we should do it again," you can say, "I'm free on Thursday." The whole left on unread or left on read for half the night because it's too soon to reply is nonsense. Just be straightforward with a guy. Story 18. Definitely not a universal thing. Some guys enjoy that, but I personally consider it unnecessary nonsense for myself. Life is already complicated enough without such games. Story 19. Everyone says men need distance, silence, and quiet moments from a girl to really understand how much they like her or do not. I have never heard this, but that does not mean it is not said. For me, it does not make sense. If I meet someone I like and indicate that to them, and they pull away and give distance and silence, I would take that as a strong indicator that they are not interested in anything romantic, sexual, or even friendship. It would make me pull away too. Do you prefer more hot and cold communication or a girl who is straightforward? I am not sure what hot and cold communication means, like playing hard to get. If so, that would indicate to me a lack of interest and make me pull away too. When it comes to communication, I am very fond of being as direct as possible. If you like me, tell me. Story 20. I hesitate to demonize anyone for having this idea of men. It is what a lot of fiction has pushed on all of us since childhood. It is horribly wrong, but also an opportunity to help people understand that it is wrong in a constructive way. In this day and age, we should be trying to build bridges, not burn them. Story 21. Who is saying that? That is 100% pure, unadulterated nonsense. There might be as many as 20 to 25 men on Earth like that, who prefer chasing a woman over straightforward communication. Even if it is a lot more than that, it is still a very small minority of men who think that way. I cannot imagine being like that unironically. "Oh yeah, baby, mess with my head some more. I can't get enough of your psychotic mind games." Sorry if that sounds foolish or ridiculous, but that is the exact impression I have. They expect us to unironically enjoy hints, half communication, ambiguity, and literally being expected to read their minds. In my opinion, anyone who actually believes that either does not understand men at all, or they are bitter that men are not into mind games and partial, fragmented, piecemeal, ambiguous, or excessively nonverbal communication the way they are. Story 22. That idea is a myth perpetuated by overly needy, clingy women who are unable to recognize or admit their own unhealthy relationship patterns. All relationships have a natural ebb and flow. Sometimes you want to be together for everything. Sometimes you need space to be in your own head for a bit. It happens with friends, family, and even your cat. Men do not want hot and cold behavior, hard-to-get attitudes, or mind games. They want the natural movement that occurs during a healthy relationship with a mentally stable woman. Story 23. I have neither the time nor the patience to play games with a relationship. Direct communication only. Anything else will make me pack it up and move on to another option. Even if one does not exist, it is easier to be single than confused about whether the person I am talking to is interested in me because of mixed signals. Story 24. Personally, I dislike any kind of chase mind games. When I was single, that would have been an immediate no from me. I don't mind pursuing someone, but if I receive mixed messages or the person is inconsistent, I will end things. Here is a bold opinion. Men do not really enjoy the chase. They are more likely to pursue women they feel the need to chase. Younger men, in particular, tend to pursue women who are out of their league in terms of appearance. These women are more likely to give mixed signals because they have more options. As people get older, relationships tend to become more straightforward for both parties. Story 25. Everyone says men need distance, silence, and quiet moments from a woman in order to really understand how much they like her. This is the first time I am hearing this. I think it is a complete fallacy and simply wrong. Women are often terrible at giving advice to each other. They keep each other single. This post is a perfect example. Story 26. I understand wanting to be wanted. I do not understand what the appeal of the hot and cold behavior is supposed to be for the person experiencing it. Story 27. I definitely realize my feelings more clearly in moments of silence. Unfortunately, I have typically already given the impression that I am not interested in her by that point. Story 28. Like women, men just want to be loved and accepted. Those myths spread by women are sadly misguided, unless you are strictly interested in players. Story 29. It is often women saying this, so I am curious to ask men. Is this true? Women do not hate other women. The answer is no. We dislike this behavior. Story 30. Who is everyone? Whose narrative? What are you talking about? Men like direct communication and hate mind games. Stop with this fake, not relationship advice post seeking relationship advice. Story 31. I do not know a single man who likes the chase or mind games or anything like that. Hot and cold behavior is manipulation. That is all that needs to be said about it. Story 32. Just be straightforward. We are not teenagers, so stop wasting our time and be upfront about your intentions. My girlfriend was upfront right away about what she wanted, and so was I. If someone is playing mind games, whether a man or a woman, they are immature and not worth the time or effort. Story 33. Many men wish this could be shut down permanently. Tell us what you want, ladies. It is that simple. If you play games, there is a very good chance he will get sick of it. Story 34. I used to be drawn into that when I was younger in my 20s. Now those kinds of mind games are a red flag. I think these kinds of games are the female equivalent of pickup lines. Some people have the personality and charisma to get away with it, but most do not. In general, I recommend straightforward communication on both sides. Story 35. Straightforward and honest. It is easier for both of us to ask for forgiveness right away rather than carry years of resentment. I have reached an age where it is easier to deal with problems immediately rather than later. If I upset you, let me know exactly when it happens, not 3 months later in an argument. I will not remember it in 3 months. Story 36. This is what happens when you listen to what women theorize about what men want and like instead of confirming it with the men themselves. No man likes the hot and cold chase. Every time you become distant, he assumes you no longer like him enough and that you are throwing away the relationship potential over petty childish mind games learned from basic dating advice magazines or single women ranting on social media. Let's institute a new rule. If you like him, tell him. Instead of playing the game of, I sometimes like you or don't, keep chasing me while I do the same with multiple other men. Story 37. Please do not listen to this narrative. Inconsistent communication is unhealthy. It is important for both people to have their own space in lives, but if you like someone, be consistent and straightforward. Do not play games. If there are people who require inconsistent communication, it means they are emotionally unhealthy and you should avoid them. Story 38. Straightforward communication is preferred. The problem is more about how frequently and needily the other person communicates, to the point it feels suffocating. Nobody wants someone who is hard to communicate with, but they also do not want someone who is suffocating and gives no space. Communication is still important, but forcing it out of neediness or obsession can make people feel overwhelmed. Knowing how to balance it is the important part. Being cold and hot is manipulative. Being straightforward and giving space is healthy. Story 39. It is emotional manipulation, plain and simple. When someone is hot and cold on purpose, they are not being mysterious. They are conditioning you to crave their attention and normalize inconsistency. Healthy attraction grows through clarity and consistency, not confusion. Anyone who plays those games is showing you they are not emotionally safe to build with. Story 40. My female psychosexual therapist explained it like this. We condition our young women to say no to a man and not make it easy, even if they want him. We condition our young men to be persistent and keep trying. This results in men who feel like it is a victory when a woman sleeps with them, and women who feel like they have been easy when they do. It also results in some men being persistent and ignoring consent, as well as some women feeling devalued when they sleep with a man. There are many secondary effects, such as men being perceived as the only ones responsible for consent, and women tending to be more passive partners because they allow it rather than desire it. If you map out the full effects, they contribute to rape culture, mistrust between genders, lack of appreciation, a high rate of failing marriages, and many issues society is trying to address. So instead, communicate. It is attractive to know that somebody likes you. All of this is my paraphrasing. Any errors are my own, not hers. Story 41. Yeah, I'll be honest, I have not heard this and it sounds awful. I would love open, honest communication. Honestly, the best woman I have ever dated was so good because I could actually talk to her and did not have to guess everything and hope I got it right. If anyone ever says the word chase relating to men and dating, I would ignore them. Story 42. I prefer straightforward communication. Why would I want someone who is inconsistent, especially after I have already married them? That is playing games. Story 43. Just another narrative set by women stating their toxic negative preferences as fact about the entire dating scene in men. Story 44. My dating profile used to state, I do not compete for a woman's attention like this is the National Football League draft. And if you want to be chased, rob a bank. Story 45. No, this is not always true. It is only sometimes true for both men and women depending on their attachment style. This kind of advice comes from people who conflate attachment styles with the male or female sex. The avoidant attachment style will eventually start needing distance, silence, and quiet moments. This is true for both men and women who are avoidant. In other words, if you follow this advice, you will purposefully repel other attachment styles and attract the avoidant. The avoidant can be a good fit for some people, so if that is what you want, go for it. I am not avoidant, and I love straightforward communication, consistent emotional availability, and consistent availability. For me, the avoidant is not a good fit, so if someone starts needing too much distance or silence, I move on. Yes, I have seen many women this way. It is not just a men's thing. Story 46. I wouldn't trust any sweeping statements made about a group of people. Everyone is different. What you are asking could be true for some men, but others might feel unwanted or alienated by it. Open communication is the only way to know for sure if you are being too clingy, too distant, or something else. I personally like to have my space every now and then, but that is mostly because I spent 12 years in a relationship where all of my free time was dedicated to doing whatever my ex wanted to do. I like spending time with her, but not having my own time every now and then started to get to me. It got to the point where I looked forward to nights when she went out with friends because it gave me a couple of hours of personal time. Everybody has their own set of needs. There are no accurate universal statements you can make about men or any other group. Story 47. I have dated a person with bipolar disorder. When she was on her medication, she was great. When she was not, that is exactly what you are describing. It was a chaotic and mentally draining situation. 0 out of 10 would not recommend for anyone. Men are simple. Be straightforward and do not play mind reading or assuming games. Show me you are interested. Otherwise, I am going to think you are not and I will move accordingly, which means further away from you. Story 48. I always hated this when I was dating. If a woman would not openly express that she was interested, I would just move along until I found someone who did. I found a partner who does not play nonsensical games and I am very happy with her. Story 49. Just be straightforward. I want someone to confide in, to love, to share random funny moments with. I'm sick of the hot and cold chase nonsense. Story 50. Not sure I understand what the original poster is asking exactly. I don't ever remember needing to think about a girl I was dating. I knew what I desired. It seems strange that women would think we need a time out or something. If we're talking about the dating dance, the tease and chase thing, it matures over time, gaining greater sophistication and subtlety. Seduction is more intentional and situation-specific, a fun option but not the entire experience. It's different with every decade over a lifetime. Even when younger, there is game and there are games. As a young man, I hated the latter and still do. At this point in life, we select no-nonsense partners. Seduction and game have their place, but the only timeouts are for dominance and submission play. The question seems to confuse two things: initial dating and subsequent relationship dating. Different things happen at different times, and those change over our lifetimes. A 50-year-old man is likely more skilled and has a deeper set of experiences to work with in each phase of a hookup or relationship. His needs are different and his partner pool is different. A man in his 20s has different needs and fewer skills. The same applies to men in their 30s and 40s. Relationship types and phases of evolution determine the balance of game, the dating dance, hot and cold, and straightforward communication. It's not a binary thing. Men exist on a continuum just like women. No singular universal answer will work. If most or all women have a fixed idea of men, they are missing a lot of variation and nuance. We men often say we are simple until we are not, but we still are. Time and place, intent, hookup, short-term fling, longer sustained romantic relationship, friends with benefits, and so on all matter. Trying to fit all that into one approach will not get a woman where she wants to go. Story 51. I think in most cases it is the women who want distancing. I am not saying we want clingy behavior, but in the first days we love to see the person we love. How do you learn about each other if you keep each other at a distance? Story 52. Men are diverse, not only personally but also culturally. Some men, particularly from Asian cultures, are accustomed to women playing coy. Most men in the Western countries prefer a straightforward approach. Story 53. It is always women saying this, so I am curious to men. Is this true? No, clearly it is not true. Women who say things like this have a habit of imposing their wishes and prejudices onto men, and then use that as a way to qualify or disqualify men as men depending on how they fulfill these ideas. It is sexism. Just treat men like human beings. It is really not that hard. Story 54. Well, in my case, I would only want straightforward communications. Life was easier for both of us when the women did not play games to get the relationship started. I imagine there are some men who like the hot and cold chase, but those may be men who do not have any trouble attracting women in the first place. For them, it is novel. For your average man, it is frustrating. Story 55. It's always women saying this. They have no idea what they are talking about. Be straightforward. Come as you are, no nonsense, like an adult. We are not playing hide and seek here. Story 56. This is fine when you are young, and some men do enjoy this sort of game being played. However, most men, including myself, do not like it. In fact, I hate it. If you do this, I assume you are not interested and move on. I would rather slam my finger in a car door than deal with this. Just be upfront if you like me. If you do not, or whatever. I am a grown man, not a child or one of those dominant male types who need to hunt. Story 57. I think I would avoid men who seek out that sort of thing. I think most men value straightforwardness and honesty. Story 58. Different men like different things. The question is, which type of man are you after, and how long do you expect him to stay? Men who like the chase are likely to pursue someone else after they catch you. Story 59. No, it works for some people but not for me. In my case, I am only interested if she is very responsive and focused on me. Otherwise, I assume if she is not talking to me, she must be talking to someone else, which is a turn off. Story 60. Will some inexperienced young men and some players, if the situation includes getting physically intimate, put up with the hot and cold behavior, and even misinterpret it as genuine attraction or as part of the excitement in the chase. Sure, most men will dislike it from day one, and many who do not will grow to hate it. Actually having real communication about your feelings or lack thereof, knowing as early as possible whether further time and effort may be warranted or is not truly wanted, is ideal. Story 61. Let us not turn every date into a job interview, but yes, overall straightforward is better. Two adults should be able to discuss the speed at which a relationship is moving. Story 62. Yeah, I need a few hours to myself here or there. Don't smother me. But there is a big difference between giving me alone time and being cold. I will say I definitely like a chase, but hot and cold is the opposite of a chase. That's you running and then stopping. Let me chase you by consistently running, that is, consistently being warm. Story 63. The only types of men this advice works for are players, avoidant individuals, narcissists, and similar personalities because it is more about the chase and the ego. Normal, well-adjusted men will simply stop chasing and pursue someone who shows clear interest. Playing hot and cold or hard to get will only attract men who will either leave you or mistreat you once they realize they have you. It is best to show clear interest, hold strong boundaries, and not tolerate any red flag behavior. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.